Now I'll be talking about 8th grade. So I was kind of a bully in 8th grade. I will admit that. But I but I'm going to talk about what I actually remember. Well, in 8th grade, there was this new girl who went to my school, and her name was Kristen or something like that. I can't remember how to pronounce the name. But anyway, she came to my school with, and another girl came to my school at the same time. And here, this girl, Kristen, was being bullied by the other new girl. And I didn't know that. And when Kristen came to me and told me what was going on, like a friend, because she was one of my true friends at the time, the other new girl came up and basically started kind of start stuff with her, which I was kind of caught in the middle of it. And to be honest with you, I agreed with some of the stuff the bully was saying to Kristen, because she always thought that every time a guy looks at her, he likes her. And I was trying to make her understand that just because a guy is looking at you doesn't mean he likes you. There's other ways to find out if a guy likes you. And so she started going on and on. And it got to the point where she started sounding like a slut and all this other stuff. And so I basically started harassing her nonstop. And I got a warning saying that my mom said if you don't stop harassing, we'll put harassment charges on you. And so basically, I really didn't care if she did, because I knew nothing was going to happen anyway. And so basically, I started harassing her even more. And she ended up putting harassment charges on me. But the thing is, I was in foster care at the time, and since I was only in 8th grade, I wasn't able to go to court since I wasn't an adult. And I don't know how that actually works, but since I was in 8th grade, the foster mother went to court instead. I don't know what was said, but I got away with harassing her. And basically, after court and everything, she moved to King of Prussia and basically told me that she's going to try to keep in touch with me. And I was like, wow, after I harassed her, she still wants to keep in touch with me. So I was like, okay. And then afterwards, I got into this point where I wanted to bully someone else, because at the time it made me feel good about myself. So I went online again, but not actually on the internet. Well, I shouldn't have said online, but I went onto the computer, and I basically wrote this letter about this girl pretending to be her writing to me, saying how she's a lesbian and everything. And I printed it out, bought it, bring it into school with me the next day, and basically I showed all these girls that were supposed to be my friend. Like, all the girls that harassed me in 7th grade, we were cool again in 8th grade. And so basically I showed all the bullies that were bullying me the letter that I wrote pretending to be her, and they actually believed me. But they didn't realize that this other lesbian was in on it. And so what happened was, we actually finally came clean about the letter after a while. But people still thought she was pretty disgusting because, one, she didn't even shave her legs or her armpits. That's disgusting. And basically, the other new girl, who was still in class in my school, was like the only reason because I basically went up to her. I was like, so I heard you're a lesbian. She's like, no. And so the mean girl was like, oh, she's only saying that because she doesn't want people to know, and blah, blah, blah. So I really didn't say anything after that. But I actually got away with it, and so did everyone else. We never got in trouble for it. And that's the kind of person I kind of am. Like, I usually get away with everything. I don't think I have ever been caught for anything in my whole entire life, especially bullying. But to be honest with you, I'm not really a bully. The only time I'm actually a bully is when someone is actually bullying me. Like, I'll be a bully every now and then when I'm not in a good mood. But, like, I usually tend to not bully anyone because I don't like it. Because I know how bullying is, and I seriously don't like bullying. But I only did, but to be honest with you, everyone goes through stages in their life. Like, I went through a bullying stage, I went through a gothic stage, I went through a girly girl stage, a tomboy stage, and a punk stage. All the stages I went through. And now, since I'm old enough to know what's right from wrong, I know what I did was wrong. And so, I basically, I don't know, that's in ninth grade, never mind. I'm rushing this. But yeah, I'm not a bully, and basically I just went through a stage in my life where I was happy being bullied, and that's why when people bully others, I know that they're not happy with their life, and that the only thing that makes them happy is when they're bullying others, trying to bring them down. Because that's what I did when I was in 8th grade. I was bullying people until I was able to bring them down. But another thing that I just realized is, I think it was in 5th grade, I'm not really sure. I was good friends with this girl that was in special ed with me, since I've been in special ed all my life. And basically, she didn't dress right. She would always dress like a tomboy and everything. And so she let me borrow her Blink-182 shirt. And so I wore it to school. And she made a big deal of like, well, you let me borrow it. So I don't really know why that's a big deal. And afterwards, I cleaned it, was going to give it back and everything. And then I forgot that it was, like, I knew it was in my closet, but I kept on forgetting to bring it back to her. And so basically, I made up this lie saying that I gave it to her when I went down and gave her this monkey that I bought her at the zoo. But she was going on and on and on, crying, just because I didn't know where it was. And sometimes I'm too blind to see where things actually are. And so, basically, I was living with nosy people, and so the lady I was living with afterwards was listening into my conversation, and then afterwards came into the room without knocking, came into my face, yelled in my face, called me the devil's child, and said I'm going to go to hell and I'm not going to have a life, and I'm going to be a low life without no friends and all this other stuff. And she was in my face about it. And there was no reason for her to be nosy and get into my face, calling me the devil's child, and saying that I'm not going to have no life or no friends. Look here, bitch. I actually have friends. And another thing is, I wouldn't be talking to you, nothing but drama. So, that's it. But I will be making more videos today of me talking about my life and how I was bullied. So, later.